You're here because you want to learn how to analyze goals in Google Analytics so you can figure out what's working and what's not. I have some good news for you. Google Analytics wants to actually tell you a story. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm going to prove it to you, all coming up. In this video, we're going to talk about goals and really two particular things about goals. The first is a framework that you should be using in order to set up goals properly in the first place. And the second thing is how to actually read the reports in Google Analytics so you can figure out what's working and what's not. And be sure to stick around to the end of this video because right toward the end, we're going to show you how you can use that same report to actually figure out traffic sources and how the different traffic sources are working together to achieve certain goals. Before we jump into Google Analytics to figure out which goals are working and which ones aren't, it's important to talk about what should actually be set up when it comes to a goal in the first place. Now for that, I'm gonna take you through a customer journey that we have. We have a specific path that customers follow to purchase this particular training program from us. As you might imagine, that path ends in a certain thank you page. So you have our thank you page which says, hey, great, you've got this added. Go ahead and check your email in a few minutes. We'll send you the login details. And that is a perfect idea of a goal. My guess is you probably also have goals that are set up in a similar way because what you're measuring for in that case is when they complete the customer journey. That is when they finish the journey itself. But let me ask you a question. Is that the entire journey? The answer is obviously not. It's just when they completed the journey. And while that is an important goal to make sure you have set up, it is not the only type of goal. So what happens before the journey? Well, they first have to be aware of the program in the first place. And so in that case, we actually do set up another goal when that stage happens. So we have this awareness goal when they come to the offer page itself. Then of course we have the completion goal when they hit that thank you page. There is one more type of goal, and that is an engagement goal. It's when they actually engage along with the process. So when somebody first comes to our page, our offer page, they are aware of the fact that they are on a particular page and can purchase an offer. They're aware of the product. We then continue to measure by setting goals to see if they're engaging along the way. That engagement step in our case, in this example, is when they land on the cart. And then finally, we set up the goal that you're probably already familiar with, which is that completion goal, when they actually complete the process that we want them to complete. The model that we've just described here is that model that I want you to be able to be using in your own measurement because it'll tell you a story of where in the customer journey you're losing people. And that is called the ACE model. Let's go ahead and dive into Google Analytics because we already have some ACE goals that have been set up back there for us. My favorite report for really understanding how goals are working or how they're not is the source medium reports. So for that, we're gonna go into acquisition, then we go to all traffic, and then source medium. Now in this report, it automatically will show us what goals we have set up and the results that we're bringing in by traffic source, which is great because we're already halfway there. We at least have some idea of what's working. So if we come in here, we already have some ACE goals that have been set up. This is the step one, the awareness goal of the offer page. And I can see in this report, all the different traffic sources coming in and how many of those traffic sources actually result in somebody seeing an offer. So I know what those traffic sources are doing for me as a marketer. Now, very quickly, once I do that, I can see in this case, I've got 55 total completions. Incidentally, you can also click here to sort this, and that way you have a top-down approach. You can see them all coming through. So I can see that in this case, Google Organic is really good about making people aware, but let's continue the journey with the next step, which is engagement. We want to make sure that they engage along the way. For that, that was the cart page. So how many are actually clicking on the cart and going further down the journey? Now, obviously it's going to be less, but we want to make sure it's not obnoxiously less. So in this case, we can see the cart goal was set up as our engagement goal, and we went from 55 down to a total of 11, but we can still see, in this case, Google Organic dropping down. It's not the most popular traffic source anymore. It's really good at awareness, but it's not so much at engagement. Instead, what wins is direct none. So that is people coming directly to our site, engaging with our brand in that way. The final goal that we want to take a look at is the one that you probably already have set up, which is that completion goal. So for that, we're going to come into the goal itself. We're going to come back and we're going to choose a different one. In this case, is the thank you page. That is the goal that completes the whole process. And here we can see again, direct none, also working really well to complete the process. The other traffic sources really didn't help us to complete the actual thank you page process. They didn't actually help us to complete the customer journey, but direct none did. So I start to have an understanding of how these traffic sources are beginning to work together a little bit. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is great, but I don't know how to actually set up goals in Google Analytics, it is actually surprisingly simple to do that. Check out this video dedicated to teaching you how to actually set up goals in Google Analytics. Now let's take this a step further and really tie traffic sources to results. So we're gonna go back into our source medium report. We're gonna click onto the offer page. In this report, when we come through and look, again, I see Google Organic really good at awareness. I see Direct None really good at awareness. I see Infusionsoft Email really good at awareness. The only reason that I can see this is because we use UTMs. So if you're not using UTMs, be sure to check out this video that we've created for you to go over how to use UTM parameters in Google Analytics so you can also give this level of visibility into the different traffic sources. So now that I know that Infusionsoft Email is really good at creating awareness, what else can I learn about these traffic sources? Again, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip through the ACE goals that we have set up. In this case, I'm gonna go into our engagement goal, which was the cart itself. So we're gonna click into that and we can see here, Direct None, obviously still the winner as it was the last time we took a look at it. Google Organic, still helping people to engage, also Infusionsoft Email. What we didn't see is that email traffic actually coming through and hitting our complete goal. So they weren't actually purchasing from that particular traffic source, from Infusionsoft Email. You can see here where it says 0. So what it says to me is my Infusionsoft Email is decent enough at creating some awareness. It's getting some people to engage to the cart, about 10% of the traffic, but we don't see enough people actually completing the process. So as a marketer, what does this report tell me? And what does this whole ACE goal model thing actually bring to fruition? What actions can I actually take from it? Well, in a very brief few minutes, I can go through this report and I can see, again, what causes awareness, what causes engagement, what causes them to actually complete the journey I want them to complete. And I can see how the traffic sources start working together or how I might get them to work together better. So for example, Google Organic is really good, as you saw, at making people aware of the Win Monthly Pass offer. It was okay at getting them to engage. It didn't really help at all when it came to getting them to purchase the program itself. So then what I can do is I can retarget that Google Organic traffic, maybe with some other traffic source, maybe with emails. Instead of trying to focus Google Organic to complete sales, I just use it for what it's really good at. Using UTMs and using the ACE goal model, I will actually be able to see in the reports whether or not it's working. If it is working, great, I'm gonna scale the traffic. And if it's not working, I'm gonna go back and rework the messaging until I get the conversation that I'm really looking for. So in this one source medium report, we've gotten done a pretty good amount of work, but I realize we've also skipped a lot of steps to get here. Fortunately, we've got an entire playlist that's been created for you that walks you through all the details of how to set up goals in Google Analytics. So be sure to check that out if you wanna learn more about setting up goals in Google Analytics. Otherwise, if you wanna continue your own measurement journey here at Social Media Examiner, check out this playlist for the next video. Either way, I will see you on that next video.